Okay, you're listening to me, Danny, on the Danny Sun Radio Show and podcasts, and I'm in good company because got a plus one here. We have simply Jay Luke on the show. We have him interactive on a live Zoom video right now. How's life treating you today, Jay Luke?
Life's treating me good. Thank you very much for having me on.
That's great to hear during these times. On to 2025, and you have finally completed a studio single called "The Tornado of Mistakes" that you're promoting and plugging at present. This must be an
Yeah.
exciting time for you.
It is. You know, like it's weird as an artist, you're always like focusing on the next thing and always trying to continually move forward, but I don't want to be the guy who's not like proud of what I've done, and I'm very proud of that song and it's getting a lot of airplay and radio and it's weird every day as an artist like myself. You kind of you're made aware of where people are listening or what's kind of going on. So I think today some chart show uh, told us that we're number 8 on some chart. So it's weird. Like it's kind of like the Wild West. You're always trying to figure out where your people are listening to you. You know.
And where in the world has been the most surreal place where people listen to your music?
Um, I have a pretty big fan base in Rio de Janeiro, which is Brazil, I believe, and Finland, strangely enough.
Ah, oh, that's amazing. Good for you.
But
Um,
it's weird that I mean here in the States it's decent, but yeah, I think more overseas over your way. A lot more people seem to get into my stuff, which is cool. I'm very grateful.
That's nice to hear. And having listened to Tornado and Mistakes, can I hear some like influences of like the Prince of Darkness there, Ozzy Osbourne, Black Sabbath?
Oh, always. I'm a huge fan of Ozzy. Yeah, I tend to, I guess, have a bunch of different influences, and I think what kind of comes through is that, like, I always say when I make a song, it's like I throw them all into a blender
Hmm.
and mix it up, and it's always interesting to hear what people say. You know what a lot of people have been comparing that song to is the band Iron Maiden, which I like quite a bit as well. But yeah.
And just listen, I just saw a few comments on, let's say, YouTube about the tornado mistakes. People described it as awesome, very cool, and perfect for like classic rock playlists. As you say, you've had like a radio airplay in like different countries, and very shortly my show as well.
Yeah, yeah. All you could do as an independent artist these days is just like, keep kind of putting content out and obviously good content. And trying to send it out to places and check to see where it's being heard and kind of cater to that, and pay attention. You do have to pay attention to quite a bit these days,
Mm.
but if you're serious about it, you got to do that.
Yeah, of course. And would you say it's a work in progress? So you're promoting this record, and you probably got another record ready to release in a couple of months' time, say.
Well, right now I have 4 solo albums out, and Tornado of Mistakes would be the first single of what would be my 5th album, I think. And it is important to me to still release albums. I know a lot of people, it's kind of a give or take thing now in our current time where a lot of people just put singles out because I hate to say that a lot of people's attention span sometimes doesn't relegate them to listening to a whole album.
Mm,
Everything is pretty short and to the point, but to me, it's important to do
yeah.
that. And I may still release a few more singles before I put the album out, though, but we'll see.
It's certainly interesting to see a lot of musical artists release EPs the last 5 years because EPs they were very popular, like say in the 80s, 90s.
Yeah, I mean that I have released an EP as what I consider my second album. It was like 5 songs. And yeah, I mean, any way that you get a collection of songs out, I think it's just important to keep making them,
Mm.
Um,
And I mentioned to you, and you mentioned that Black Sabbath was inspirational for you. Um, just wanted to touch on their 1971 studio album, Master of Reality. That was an early 70s number. Would you say that's quite a pioneering record for you? Inspirational, that one.
Uh, yeah, I'll say this. Now it might be different from where you're at there. When I was a kid, hard rock and heavy metal was a big thing, and Ozzy Osbourne, not even so much with Black Sabbath, but on his own as a solo artist, uh, he was like really like the epitome of evil at one point, and I always recall my parents and grandparents going, "Oh, you better not be listening to him." He was like this bad man, and it's funny how time has gone on, and everyone's like, just saw that he was just just playing a role, kind of, and but what an interesting fella, and a huge inspiration to me as far as music and Black Sabbath. They're unavoidable as far as an influence. I mean, like you pick up a guitar, and I think the first, it's either between them and Deep Purple if you're going to play Iron Man or Smoke on the Water. They're like the two things that everyone grabs a guitar for. So, yes, incredible influence. And yeah, Master of Reality is a fantastic album.
Wow, nice to hear it as well. And on the backdrop of me here is a city called Birmingham. That's where he was actually
Oh,
from.
that's
You know,
right. The
so
whole band. That's right.
yes, a legend in his own right, but worldwide, of course. Yeah, he's gone to live over the States there with, he went on to the Osbournes and, you know, done his own thing. Wanted to ask as well, you released around 6 years ago a track called Side Effects, and you even made a music video to this. Looking back at this, was this another kind of highlight of your career?
Well, for me, when I did that, it was what would be my first single ever. And I was new to, I wasn't new to playing. I'd been playing for like probably at that time. Let's see, I started in 2003, so that came out in 17. But I had a band, and I was just waiting and waiting for the band to get it together so we could record something. And we kept losing a member, or it was. I always say that like if we were a good sports car, we always had a busted wheel. So something was always going wrong, and finally, like I just it crushed me to give up on that dream about the band. But I said, I'm gonna call it quits with this band, and we still had some studio time, and
Mm.
I went in and I made my initial album. But that song, to me, I'm a pretty big insomniac, and there's a certain point at when television stops regular programming and it's all infomercials after that. And the infomercials are so bizarre and so outlandish. It shows all these people really happy and whatnot, and they'll tell you how you could fix like one ailment. But at the very last second of every one of the infomercials, they like sounds like a machine gun type
Mm.
listing off these horrible side effects. And we made a video that was both poking fun and giving a serious take on that. These things that give you this magical cure also give you a bunch more things worse than what you're treating.
Yeah, yeah,
So we made light of it in the video with me and a bunch of different infomercials and stuff like that. But yeah, it was a lot of fun to do. But the message is basically what I was trying to say is like, watch what you're doing with these kind of things and do your homework.
yeah. I'm sure a lot of people can connect to that record as well, especially during these fast times as well. So much going on in the world.
So much.
And another track moving on, you released called Me and My Demons as well. What's the meaning behind this one?
When like every song is pretty personal for me. When I had released that, I was working a very stressful job full time. And, basically right after work, I would be running off to a gig or, um, just something where like my personal time was very, very little. And so much stress, and it was just like living by deadline and all these kind of things. So, I'd work a full day, go drive an hour to go play a show, drive another hour to come home, and by the time you get home, it's like 3 in the morning, and then you have to get up at 7 o'clock to go start it all over again. And I said to myself, like, between 3 and 7, I don't really sleep that much, so I feel like I was sitting with me and my own demons,
Mm.
and it's probably why I couldn't sleep and all this kind of stuff. But it turned out to be this, to date, my most successful song and album.
Yeah.
So a lot of people related to it,
Yeah.
I guess.
How do you find your sleep at the moment? Would you say you're still like a creature of the night?
Oh, 100%.
Mm. It's hard, isn't it?
It's so bizarre, I used to think it was a lot of things I did when I was in my youth that kept me up all the time, but now
Mm.
I'm so used to it.
Yeah. They say like don't drink coffee, don't go on
Oh,
social media. You try all these things and it still doesn't work.
yeah, I gotta say the coffee is definitely my downfall. I'm the biggest addict going.
Mm. I just had a
It's
hot chocolate myself.
uh,
Couldn't help
so
myself.
good.
Onto the music now. Where and how do you get your creativity and ideas from? When you're songwriting, could it be like somewhere such as like a shop or a supermarket or a cafe or natural
Yeah,
surroundings?
yeah. There's no real set place or form. I never have any particular formula, but I do find yeah, doing monotonous things. A lot of times it's like mowing my garden, or mowing my grass rather, like the lawn, where it's like you tune the world out, and your thoughts are just like kind of in the background, and some of them come up and jump at you, and or maybe when I'm driving, I get a lot of ideas. But if I don't document those ideas instantly, they're gone forever.
Mm.
I might say to myself, "Oh, just remember this as soon as I get back to the house or something," and they're gone. So I have to, like, if I'm driving, I'll pull over and write something down,
Yeah,
or if I'm doing my yard, I'll run in the house and
yeah,
grab a pen and stuff. So
yeah. Before the notepad on the smartphone, we were a bit of a scribbler. The old pencil and notepad.
I still am very much that. You're only seeing a small portion of my home here, but there are post-it notes everywhere. That's kind of my thing.
And you mentioned being an independent artist. You have to support yourself. What do you enjoy about this aspect of it?
Um, I enjoy that you have complete control. Um, like, it could be both a good thing, and the frustrating thing about it all is that not so long ago, there was the music industry was so different, and if you got signed to a label, they would do a lot for you. They'd help you with press and marketing and certain things like that. Now, as an independent artist, you basically your own manager, your merch person,
Mm.
your bouncer in certain cases, all of these things, and it often feels like music is the last part of being an independent artist, because I forget which famous, it might have been Hunter S. Thompson, the writer, who said something about the music industry and how very little music is in the music industry, and it's
Yeah.
all business related.
I guess record deals now they were rare to get, and now they're probably even like rarer now.
Well, I think you could get them. It's just that, like, I'm not sure how much they do for you now. I mean,
Yeah.
like, there are still major labels, and I think everyone's kind of lost their power quite a bit,
Mm. Mm.
and even the positives about that and independent artists, it's still so difficult. Like, when you look at the streaming thing, like, you need to get so many streams to make anything that would be a
Mm.
living. It's almost impossible unless you're like Taylor Swift or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I
you
read
know
in the paper it's like a fraction of a penny, isn't it?
it's unbelievable. Yeah, you need to
Yeah.
really, I mean, at this point, I'm probably close to 600,000 streams, And that seems like it is a lot.
Mm.
But I'm not buying a house with that. I still have to have a job, and I still have
Yeah,
to, do a lot of other things to make ends meet. But
yeah,
yeah, I mean, it does give me a little bit of something, but I wish it were more. You know,
yeah. I mean, like making music as well, the costs of that, where studio hire and instruments, and you got to fix the instruments as well.
the yeah,
Overheads. So,
the thing that's so hard is that like you spent all this time, and studios are not free, and
mm,
that time isn't free, so you basically put in so much to give it out for free because
mm,
it's just not a buying thing, unfortunately.
yeah,
Everybody's going to take the free route if they can.
yeah. It's very hard times now for everyone, I guess, in any industry.
Sure.
And you mentioned like Smoke on the Water as well. You like to double with that song, play it. Do you enjoy like doing cover versions? Like putting your own stamp on a song sometimes. Especially playing live.
Yeah, when I play live, I usually have at least one show a week. And a lot of times it's just me playing by myself, acoustic, like solo shows. And yeah, I enjoy playing, certain covers. Basically, my rule is that if I don't like the song, I won't play it. Because like people, I'm not sure how it is. I was only over in the UK there for a little bit, but the audiences could be very stubborn and ignorant. It's like, play this song. It's like, well, I don't know that song.
Yeah.
And then like 3 minutes later, play this song. It's like I just told you I don't know it. I didn't learn it in 3 minutes, So it could be quite frustrating, but also there's an art form in dealing with the crowds
Yeah.
and audiences. You have to make it humorous or
Mm.
something like that.
Sometimes the audiences can be quite fickle, can't they? They have short attention span because
Oh, 100%.
sometimes when a DJ, gone are the days where you play like a full track. It's like, oh yeah, play a song, a verse and a chorus, and then mix the next one in. It's just play the whole song in all of its glory, especially a
Right.
rock song.
Right. I know that like I said, well, and also add in a lot of people definitely drinking too much. Saying like, "Can you play this song?" No, I can't play that song. And then it's like almost they turn around and forget that they just asked you to play that song, and it's like I just told you I don't know how to play that song. So yeah, there's quite a bit of frustration and all of that as
Mm.
well. If you
Yeah, it's understandable. Do you think that rock music could do with a revival at the moment? Obviously, rock music is still there, but it seems to be not as appreciated as it was, say the 70s, 80s, and 90s.
Uh, yeah, I do. I think it's an interesting thing. Like people always think it's going to die out and stuff, but it always seems to come back out of the
Mm,
grave somehow,
mm,
Um, I'm not really sure. Sometimes I feel like I'm so out of touch with whatever's popular. That it seems to me like the popularity is always with pop and country music is a massive thing,
mm,
and I can't quite figure it out. It seems like the most. I don't want to say anything negative, but the formula seems very generic.
mm,
At
mm.
least for what's popular, not like the Johnny Cash kind of a country thing, but like if you were asking me about songs and inspiration with that kind of thing, it's like girlfriend left me. I have a pickup truck and me and my dog, or something like that. It seems to cover every base for that thing, and it's maybe it's a stereotypical thing or whatever, but
I know with
yeah, I
country
don't.
music, you got to associate like poker and
That's
gambling
it,
and
poker.
whiskey as well.
Yes.
That's so true.
Yeah.
And I remember going to a record store and you would see rock like umbrella lies with like pop music. It used to be like rock pop back in the day.
Mhm.
It's a shame how it's kind of like just kind of disconnected pop and rock.
I agree. Yeah, because something else that I think is important as an artist. I'm very much a fan of artists like David Bowie and Prince. Two artists who I think they would maybe put one album out, and the very next album would be so bizarre and so different than the last album they put
Mm.
out. And I know there's certain people who, say a band like AC/DC or the Ramones. It would be incredibly shocking if one of those two bands like did something that was very different than their last 10 albums
Mm.
because they sound very similar. Not that there's anything wrong with that or whatnot, but I'm way more a fan of the kind of artists like Prince or David Bowie who, if you write a song that sounds a little bit different than what people maybe may associate you with, I think it's totally fine to do it.
Yeah.
I think that more people should be willing to take those risks, as an
Yeah.
artist.
As I know those two artists, David Bowie, Prince, they certainly appealed to the masses, they were mainstream, but they kept it real. They decided to like be themselves and didn't want to like do something different.
Yeah, I totally agree with that,
Mm.
and it's influenced me a lot to not put myself into a corner or only play a certain style. I mean, I love rock and roll. It's
Mm.
if you were to ask me, what genre I am, people might say metal or
Yeah.
anything, but I always consider myself a rock artist, and that, like you said, in the big umbrella of things, that covers quite a bit.
Mm,
You know,
mm, mm.
so
Sometimes just throwing it back to the 1950s, 1960s rock and roll, it's now and again, it's quite refreshing to hear that type of music again.
I agree.
Yeah. And where have you traveled in the States, which has been your favorite part?
In the States, I enjoyed California. I was there, uh, not to play music, just to kind of visit a friend over there, and it's cool. And I just feel like everything. I hate to blame the internet on stuff, but before that, before the internet like really took a hold and shook everything up, that would have been the place for I think an artist like myself to probably make it or
Mm,
break pretty big over there because a lot of legendary acts came from over there and a lot of big time clubs and stuff like that, and they're still important now, but everything kind of took a downgrade, I think, in recent times,
mm,
unfortunately.
mm, mm. And where's best for people to follow you on social media? And also wanted to ask about, the music video to, the one I mentioned, the side effects. They can watch the video on YouTube as well.
Um, I think I have the most personal interaction through Facebook, my Facebook page. But I'm also on Instagram and well, YouTube. What's the other one? Twitter, X, it's called now. Um, and yeah, this, another thing we spoke earlier about, independent artists and stuff. Like you have to stay on top of the social media thing,
Mm,
and there's certain things that I just don't. I feel I'm too old for what is it, Snapchat and TikTok and stuff like that. But who knows? I mean, as we're all adapting to the times,
yeah.
you might see me on those things as
Yeah.
well.
I heard a new one the other day come up in a quiz, Blue Sky or something.
Yes, well, I think that came out in some sort of opposition to X. Elon Musk, people weren't agreeing with his political views or something, so a lot of people pulled out of
Mm.
Twitter and went over there.
And
I haven't tried that one out yet, but
uh,
that
you
might
never
be.
know. And do you remember the MySpace days?
I actually miss the MySpace days. Things were a lot simpler then. Now you got to kind of like spread yourself all over the place, which the further out you get, the better, I guess. But it's a lot of homework that you're not spending time making music on.
I suppose at the end of the day, you've got to enjoy it.
Yeah, yeah, and every now and again, I think like, is it still there? I'm sure MySpace is still there, but yeah, different times.
Yeah, very true. Well, Jay Luke, thanks for joining me on today's show and answering some of the questions. It's good to talk about music, on a
I
personal
love it.
level. And What's for me to do is, play your new track, Tornado of Mistakes, on my show.
Awesome.
Yeah,
I
great
appreciate it.
chatting with you and connecting with you tonight.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
Not, not, no problem at all.